Everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Members online, are you hearing me? Good evening, excellent. Okay, so firstly we want to stand first recite the national anthems. We are going to now recite the philosophies, recite the objectives of the VIP. So I'm about to read the purpose and objectives of the Society of the Ventures and Investment Program. I'm reading from the bylaws. To access benefits managed by the patron, including as outlined within the VIP's articles of incorporation, which benefits are mainly of a kind which is either difficult or impossible to acquire if any member was to try to get such benefits by acting alone. These include resilience and self-sustainability in food security, health security, income security, and social security for members to achieve success, health, wealth, and happiness to their measure during their lifetime. Each member can take as much or as little as he needs during his life cycle to add to what he can do for himself to achieve his wellness goals of success, health, wealth, and happiness, and achieve peace of mind. In fulfilling its objectives, the VIP shall not conduct its affairs principally in the manner of an advocacy group to develop an invaluable expertise in the application of social automation to make the world a better place to live. Philosophies of the VIP. The universal philosophy of life. Your relationship with things and people matters. 4 immutable philosophies of life. Be aware and be action-oriented. Results is all that matters. You are 100% responsible for your results. Let only result-oriented wellness activities become your wellness lifestyle. 5 basic philosophies of life for acquiring and preserving peace of mind. Be a benefactor. Make your life be a benefit to others. Take the lead. Be the example of what you want others to be. Live your life in a manner in which you do not have to lie. A strong vocabulary sharpens the mind, and the results of human interactions depend upon the nature of their conversations. Yours is mostly with yourself. Ensure that your thoughts, words, and deeds are within your conscience, do not infringe the rights of others, and can survive reasonable scrutiny. Do it now. That's the way to get things done. Act, or thou shalt be acted upon. I would like to welcome the chairman for opening remarks, Mr. Samuel Bernard.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bernard. I want to thank all of you who have made the time to come to this extraordinary general meeting today. Welcome. I would like to reiterate an underlying message that is being conveyed with the preambulatory clauses of this resolution. Last week, I should say on Monday, I was at a funeral of Mr. Arthur Sanderson. And at that funeral, you had the former president of Trinidad and Tobago, or his name slips me somehow right now. But nevertheless, he mentioned that at the time in the 1970s, when he was younger, there was this concept called neo-colonialism. Neo-colonialism is really whereby we may feel that we are independent and we can rule ourselves. However, there are systems, financial, administrative, and other types of infrastructures that frustrates our attempts to get ahead. Many speakers at that event, at that funeral, lamented the very same thing and claimed or pointed out that it is still going on. These things occur with such finesse that it's difficult normally to point out anything specific that's happening to the working class. However, something I always say is this: one may get away with the details, but you will be caught with the trends. And when you read the preambulatory clauses, you will see a trend. And the document is well researched. It has facts. And most of us live that. But unfortunately, we are unable to actually identify the various elements that actually holds us back. There's something I say that we must be very conscious of. It's called the enemy within. The enemy within is us. You and I. It's our attitudes that prevents us from going forward. That's only one part at the personal level. But it's also those persons who we believe are part of us, who smile in our face and stab us in the back. That's a very pernicious type of enemy that you identify by the trend. But most of the time, the true enemy hides behind the curtain. So when you look at the preambulatory clauses, it will give you some insight as to what is happening. And more particularly, the impacts are reflected more directly against the people of the borough of Point Fortin and environs. And you will see the evidences very, very clearly. So while the evidence is there for that particular area, but we all know that it is dispersed throughout the country. What's the solution? The solution is very simple. Just keep marching on. Success is not for the lucky, it's not for the rich, it's not for the strongest. Success is for those who have the long view and who persist regardless of the obstacles that may arise. That, my friends, represents the spirit of members of the VIP, who we call elite activists. It's the spirit of the people of Point Fortin. It's the spirit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago that refuse to be held down. These cooperatives are designed to help the working class people of Trinidad and Tobago to rise out of their miseries. And nothing shall hold the people down. I'm not asking members here to join any resistance movement. It's not about that. It's not about a resistance movement. The very Articles of Incorporation of the VIP says that we will not conduct our affairs as a pressure group. But that does not say that we will fall and die. One thing I share with young people is this: when you meet resistance, go underground, go above, go on the side, blast through, or just simply wait and things will change. But never, ever give up. History is actually in the making right now. And the people who make history do not gather together with that purpose. The people who make history gather together merely to live a better life. And that's all. I'll repeat this. The people who make history do not gather for that purpose. The people who make history are merely struggling to make a better life for themselves, their families, their communities. And the next generation, when they look back, then they will identify those persons as heroes, but those persons never, ever wanted to be heroes. They just wanted to live a better life. And that's exactly what occurs with members of the VIP. That's exactly what occurs with persons who want to join these cooperatives. The first one was carded for the borough of Point Fortin and environs. The second one would have been, or is carded for, what is now the borough of Siparia. The third one, Tobago. The fourth one would have been the Penal Debe Regional. And then what you would find, there will be a momentum whereby many of them would start flourishing. And we would find a solution for the delinquencies that occurs in this country. There's no institution in this country that teaches people how to be parents, how to be good children. The cooperative is that institution that has all of the moral, ethical, and ambitious values that is useful to make a better people, who will make better children, who will make better parents, who will make better communities and better institutions, and will make a better country. That's really what this is all about. Making a better life for future generations. And with that, I close.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Special announcement on housekeeping. I wish to convey to this extraordinary general meeting the sentiments of those members who indicated that they wished to attend in person or online and who, for a number of reasons, are unable to attend. I also wish to thank those members like you who have decided to stay the course in support of one another and your organization during the most difficult times within the last few years. Your name shall be remembered by future generations for all times. Meeting rules of conduct. Let me just share this agenda for a minute. The Secretary shall take and make a list of attendees who indicate a desire to speak. Speakers on the speaker list shall be given first preference to speak on each topic. Each attendee shall speak only once on the topic which is on the floor. Any attendee may indicate an intention to respond to any person on the speaker list. The chair may ask for contributions from attendees who are not on the speaker list. Time is of the essence. When presenting any question, avoid long-winded introductory statements. Please keep the discussions polite and sharply focused upon the topic which is on the floor. I'd like to bring in Mr. Samuel Bernard, Chairman's comments and rules. Chairman's comments and rules with respect to the preambulatory clauses. Mr. Bernard.
Thank you. I would like to make a correction to the spelling of our Prime Minister's name in the resolution document. The correction, there's an I where there's supposed to be an O in Christopher. Please consider that correction as being made. We need to give due respect to the spelling of people's name, and more particularly to our Prime Minister. So I would like to apologize to our Prime Minister for that error in the document. For the purpose of tabling this resolution, I would like to rule that the colored background shall be disregarded and have no meaning for the purpose of this meeting. The meaning only was related to events occurring prior to the meeting, so that persons would be able to review the document without having to read over the whole document in order to get to appreciate the more substantive edits. I would like to share with you that throughout the documents there would have been some smaller edits to kind of clean up the document in terms of language and in terms of conveying understanding. The preambulatory clauses are intended to provide context and, of course, are not subject to debate. The chair is open to suggestions for amendments related to textual and factual errors related to that particular document for the purpose of accuracy in terms of the records that will be kept as regards to the VIP and this particular resolution. I now open the floor for attendees to move and second, putting the resolution to the floor for debate. To speak, you have the floor, Ms. Mavis Cooper. Yes, and Ms. Afia Bernard is about to actually make that motion. One person in attendance was actually suggesting that since I mentioned that we would open the floor to the debate, that we should be having that on the agenda. And I was clarifying to her that that's exactly what we were doing. And Ms. Afia Bernard was the one that was going to open, to actually put the resolution to the floor.
I move to propose that resolution number 0012023, instructions to register all community entrepreneurial cooperatives, CEC and or such other necessary bodies or entities for members of the VIP to lawfully fulfill the wellness goal of wealth and diversify the economy into a medical and wellness economy, providing income security for future generations, be put to the floor. And seconded by, somebody could second, Mr. Wayne Parrott. Second.
I now open the floor as chairman for questions on the preambulatory clauses. As per the rules, we will start with A and we'll go down to C. Were there anyone who was put on the question list? Okay. I would like to ask the question, or put to the floor, those of you who wish to be on the speaker list, please indicate by showing your hands. The secretary will take your names. Those of you who make those indications will have priority to speak over those who have not. This does not mean that others will not get a chance to speak. It's just that we want to have an idea of those who are willing to speak. So when we call for members to make contributions on any of the clauses, we will call on those persons who are on the speaker list first to say what they need to say. And of course, after they have said what they need to say, we will ask others to respond if they feel that they need to make a contribution. So after dealing with that, we move to the next person on the speaker list on the particular topic. However, we have to appreciate that there's a limit of time, so we may not be able to go through all of the items on the speaker list, especially as pertains to the preambulatory clauses, which really are qualifications towards the actual resolutions. We will spend some time on the resolution itself, where we now have debate in terms of persons who may wish to speak for or against the particular resolution, as case may be. When we are dealing with the preamble clauses, we are not dealing with a context of for or against. It is just for discussion. Person may want to make an observation or ask a question. So, how many people do we have on the speaker list so far? I see there are 2 persons, 3. Anybody here? Okay. Are there any others who wish to be on the speaker list? So So far I'm seeing Mr. Prescott and Mr. Bach. Are there any others that might be raising hands which we are not seeing? If that is the case, please speak so that we will put you on the speaker list for priority when it comes to discussions. Ms. Bernard is looking at the chat to see if someone may have responded by chat in the event that they cannot use the facilities to raise their hands. Okay, so we'll move forward now. And we will pay attention to clause A of the preambulatory clause. I will not read the clause. So, who is the first person to speak on the speaker list? Mr. Prescott, you have the floor.
Hello? I don't believe that we actually need to discuss it. What we need to discuss at this point is a resolution that's on the floor, or we need to amend the resolution to include the preambulatory clauses in order to discuss them.
Okay, I did not hear what you said at the beginning. There was a little background sound at the time, all right? So could you just repeat what you're saying? It's a point of order, so we'll take that point.
The point of order is that there is a motion on the floor, which is the resolution. That is the matter that is to be discussed right now, not the preambulatory clauses. Other than that, we need to have an amendment to the motion to include the discussion of the preambulatory clauses.
Okay, sure. I would want to ask a question. We will need to determine whether there are persons who would like to discuss the preambulatory clauses. Could you show hands if you feel that there is a need to discuss? From the little people, the few persons that show their hands in terms of being on the speaker list, it seems to me that there's an indication that persons would prefer to go to the resolution and have discussion there first. However, knowing our culture, where persons may be silent on matters, we would like to give everybody an opportunity to make representation, if you so desire, to have the conversations on the ambulatory clauses, which I'm sure most persons appreciate will probably self-explanatory. So those of you who may wish to have discussions on the preambulatory clauses, could you raise your hands? And if we get a majority, we will amend the resolution to include the discussion on the preambulatory clauses, as suggested by Mr. Prescott.
Mr. Bach, before we go forward, Mr. Bach is up.
Okay, Mr. Bach, you have the floor. I'm not so sure if it is he was responding to the request of Mr. Prescott, and is on the floor raising his hand for that purpose. However, in the event that he's raising his hand for another purpose, Mr. Bach, please take the floor.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Well, my hand was raised when you asked for who persons are willing to speak, and then it went into Mr. Prescott's comments, and I raised my hand in support of it. I would like to make a general, there are lots of things I would like to ask about the preambulatory clauses, but it's going to take us the rest of the evening or night to get those things answered. So I would like to, at some point in time, leave it open to you, Chair, to decide when it's the right time to ask some, condense my questions into probably one or two questions that are of a general nature to put some context into my voting.
Okay, I would want to suggest that you do so when we have discussions. Well, let me put it this way. at this particular phase, we are making an inquiry of the attendees as to whether they want to include the preambulatory clauses as part of the resolution.
Sure.
If that is the case, then we will. But if that is not the case, it will not be right of me to disregard the opinions of the members of the meeting. However, that said, may I suggest that you have an opportunity while discussing the substantive clauses to couch your verbiage in a manner that you can now slip in the issues that you may want without, of course, getting out of context. And I'm sure that you will have that ability to so form your conversation so that you can get those issues in. Mr. Bach, could you respond to what I've just said?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Thank you. So, okay, with that said, I will come back to the return to opening the floor for persons who feel that we should include the preambulatory clauses for discussion as part of the resolution. Of course, we know that will take a lot of time, depending on the excitement and the nature of the conversations. So I will give you an opportunity. I will probably wait for a minute, and then we will move on accordingly. Show of hands for those who say yes. Okay, we have one person in here who has raised their hands, and three persons in the floor that raised their hands. However, when considering that there are 17, so we have 17 in total, then that motion has failed. So what we will do now, we will move to the next item on the agenda. And of course, Mr. Bax will get an opportunity to contextualize his concept or matters. So I now open the floor for questions on the operative clause, and we will now have discussions related to operative clause 1 first. In doing so, we will open the floor first to Mr. Prescott in order to make his contribution. Mr. Prescott, you have the floor. Okay, is there anyone who wishes to comment on Mr. Prescott's contribution? Not Mr. Bach. Well, Mr. Bach should comment on it if he wishes, but I will get to him after anybody else on the floor wish to make a comment on Mr. Prescott's contribution. If you do, please raise your hand so we will know and call your name. Okay, there are persons who have said, those who are the presence here, who are alive, said that they did not hear what Mr. Prescott may have said. I tried to use the mic to get it done. What I will do, I will paraphrase his sentiments. Mr. Prescott indicated that he is in agreement with the resolution as it is, and he has nothing negative that he may wish to contribute for consideration by the meeting. Okay, good. I now open the floor to Mr. Bach for making a contribution on item 1. Yeah, restrict your comment to item 1, and then we will move to item 2 in the same manner.
Item 1 being the, as I'm reading it here, the board, the responses 1, 2, sorry, I'm losing that. Nothing here. What is item 1?
Yeah, okay, for your benefit and the benefit of others, I will read item 1. Hold on, Miss. There are some technical issues Miss Bernard would like to get resolved. Or she's going to share item 1 on the screen for those who may want to look at it, but I will still read it. So there is an introductory clause, and I'll read the introductory clause before I go in. The sponsors hereby aver that in just satisfaction and in fulfillment of the intentions of the VIP Articles of Incorporation, and based upon these premises, the sponsors truly believe that it shall be fit, useful, and proper for the purpose to bring this resolution to the attention of the general meeting for a decision. Now therefore, be it resolved that the general meeting instructs the board and the Society of the Ventures and Investments, the board of the Society of the Ventures and Investments Program and the steering committee for the Borough of Point Fortin and Environs Entrepreneurial Cooperative Society Limited, either individually or jointly, to take such actions as may be deemed necessary to get registered the Borough of Point Fortin and Environs Entrepreneurial Cooperative Society Limited, as well as each community entrepreneurial cooperative, which the VIP intends to register throughout Trinidad and Tobago, as outlined within the VIP bylaws, and whereby such actions shall be deemed to include and shall not be limited to legally and or otherwise lawfully contesting any unfavorable actions and or decisions of the Commissioner for Cooperative Development on any applications to register the Borough of Point Fortin and Environs Entrepreneurial Cooperative Society Limited, and or any resubmitted applications to register the Borough of Point Fortin and Environs Entrepreneurial Cooperative Society Limited, plus any other community entrepreneurial cooperative for which any applications to register may be submitted and or resubmitted to the Commissioner for Cooperative Development, and under all circumstances shall include any amendments as may be deemed necessary for the purpose. So this is the first part of the resolution as I've read, and it's on the screen for those of you who may prefer to use the screen, and the floor is now turned over to Mr. Bach to make comment.
Things which are more of a general nature, but I can pose a question here. My questions are for general understanding of the procedures and stuff like that, and what we're all about. What is the bona fide expose of the steering committee of the Board of Point Fortin to be making a resolution to us to the VIP program? Is the steering committee of the board of the number of going forward member with VIP?
Yes, the answer is yes. And by the way, when you look at the preambulatory clauses, you will see that the steering committees is actually made up of members of the VIP, and the steering committee is really a constituent body of the VIP. Right. I should go further than that. The steering committee was actually elected in 2019 under the auspices of the commissioner, which auspices is not necessary in law, but I just need to mention that to you. Right? The steering committee could be elected by members and should be elected by members without any interference from the commissioner, because that committee is really a body of the VIP, and when constituted, it's actually a part of a members club, and the commissioner has no powers over any body that is not under her or his jurisdiction under the Cooperative Act. So please continue with your inquiry. I feel I missed something.
Except to say that what you just told me is that the members of the steering committee are part of the VIP program, but what we have here is a body called the steering committee, which is drafting a resolution for us, which and the only way I can see that the legitimacy is if the body called the steering committee of the Borough of Point Fortin is a constituent member of the VIP program.
Thank you for your observation, and the answer to that is yes. It is actually well enunciated, described, and within the preambulatory clause. The fact is, a lot of law has been expressed within that preambulatory clause that actually justifies the concerns that you have.
Yeah, just a small thing that this
Well, the questions should relate to the particular item on the floor. I believe that I would have given some liberty to deal with something that was a little outside of the particular item of the floor, but contextually, since it spoke about the steering committee seeking instructions, I allowed your inquiry to move forward. Hello?
I acknowledge your kindness.
Thank you so much. It's necessary that we all be polite and generous with one another as we interact. If we could have gotten that across more persons in the community, we'll have a better nation. Okay, so is there any person who may wish to make a contribution on clause 1? I'll ask that so that we know whether we should go to clause 2. So now that, just now, I was not able to see hands. Is there a hand up? Let's make sure. Oh, there's a hand up from in the meeting here, live. Mr. Prescott, do you have the floor? Or you? Mr. Perrott, I'm sorry. Mr. Perrott, you have the floor. Could you take a mic?
I just need a clarification on one thing. clarification almost to the bottom of the, when you have the bottom of the 1, 2, 3, I think the third line up from the bottom. When you have, I just need some clarification on submitted and resubmitted to the commission. That seems to be a little confusing or something.
It may sound redundant. That might be what you might actually want to say. But what it says, you're dealing with original submissions, and the commissioner may respond or may not respond, and therefore it allows us the ability to make amendments and resubmit if the commissioner did not respond, or if the commissioner responds, whether in favor or not in favor, that we now do a resubmission.
But that is a if.
What's that?
That is a if the commissioner responds, yes or no.
That's right. It's actually what's called a contingency.
Okay. Yeah, I needed clarification on that. Okay.
Yeah, so the clause have been written to consider the various contingencies that may have to be dealt with in the real world. So we now could deal with it, exigently, as the case may be. Mr. Parrott, are you close?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right. I see Mr. Bach's hand is up. Now the rule actually should have only one opportunity, but because of your contribution, your valuable contributions, we'll give you another. So Mr. Bach, could you take the floor?
Yeah, well, I thought it was one per item on the resolution.
Oh, we are not on, it's one per item, but we are not yet at item 2.
You're not yet on item 2, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you had transition to item 2. I'll comment on item 2, sorry. I will withdraw. Item 2 is my comment. Okay,
sure. I shall reserve that generosity to you for item 2 if you feel you may need to use that get out of jail card free, so to speak, if you know what I mean with that metaphor. So we shall now move. Yeah, we shall move to the other item, which is the operative clause number 2. And I shall read. And further, be it resolved that the journal. Yes, well, I need to change. Ms. Bernard, do you want to put that item on the screen? So we are now at operative clause number 2. And further, be it resolved that the general meeting instructs the board of the Society of the Ventures and Investments Program and the steering committee for the Borough of Point Fortin and Environs Entrepreneurial Cooperative Society Limited, either individually or jointly, to take such lawful actions as may be deemed necessary to get registered such bodies and or entities, which shall not be any registered cooperative, nor shall be organized to conduct their affairs, nor shall claim to conduct their affairs under cooperative principles, and may conduct their affairs as social enterprises, which may apply social entrepreneurship, and which can lawfully perform the roles, services, and functions otherwise intended to be lawfully performed and or executed by the community entrepreneurial cooperative cooperatives as outlined within the VIP bylaws. So with that, I will now move to the first speaker on the speaker list, and in the normal manner as we did before. So the floor is open to Mr. Prescott.
Yes, as I indicated before,
resolutions, and I have no objections or questions on that. So I'm in support of it.
Thank you very much.
Because I'm on my phone and I need to make an important call. It's very short, so I need to leave the question.
Okay, sure. Your excuse? Okay. We open the floor for persons who may wish to respond. No, we have to deal with Mr. Prescott first. And we'll open the floor for anybody who wants to respond to Mr. Prescott, and then we'll move to Mr. Prescott. So we open the floor to anyone who wishes to respond to the comments made by Mr. Prescott, which person can include Mr. Bash, of course. So the floor is open. Bash, the floor is open to you in response to Mr. Prescott. Just remember, the floor will be open to you again for your own representation, which is not necessarily, it was in response to Mr. Prescott. Please take the floor.
My hand was not raised in response to Mr. Prescott. It was raised in to make the comment on the resolution number 2.
I see. Okay. So that I take it that there are no other persons who wish to make a comment on Mr. Prescott. I will now ask for persons who wish to make a comment on the item on the floor to raise their hands.
And again,
No, you don't, because you are automatically on the speaker's list. Okay, so I take it that there are no other persons who wish to make a comment on their own volition. And with that, the floor is open to Mr. Bash. Mr. Bash, please make your usually very valuable comment and contributions. Thank you. Take the floor.
Thank you. I am not aware and if you can help me understand that this meeting can instruct the steering committee of the Board of Public Water and Environment to do anything. Please explain.
Sure, man. That's very easy. A general meeting can pass instructions to anybody in the organization. The question here is this: what prevents a general meeting from passing instructions of any kind to anybody who is part of the VIP? That's really the question. Are you going to respond, or you would prefer to pass response upon it?
No, I hear what you have to say. I can't agree with your comment, but leave it like that.
No, I didn't make a comment. I asked the question. So it's a question that you can respond to. What prevents the general meeting of any organization, and particularly the VIP, from passing a resolution to instruct any office, officer, or member of that body?
If it's a member of the body, that's fine. You can have, to use your word, instruction. But if it is not a member of that body, I mean, that's a national body. I don't know that a private body it seems rather odd that what is I consider to be a private body can instruct a public body to do something like that. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense to me, but I leave your comment as is.
Where is the private and public? Could you identify the private body and public body to which you refer to?
Okay, who appointed the steering committee of the point 14 for
My friend, please address the question. You made reference. The floor is the chair is speaking. Please hold. I am addressing your concern. I'm trying to address your concern. Right? There was another way I would have addressed it, which would have met your satisfaction. But because you raise an issue that the chair believes needs to be addressed in order to show that the chair is actually taking you very seriously, the question is, could you identify which are the public and private entities as regards to this resolution to which you refer?
Private VIP, public steering committee.
Okay. With respect to organization theory and management, a public body is a government or quasi-government entity. So the Commissioner for Cooperative Development is a public body, and their officials are called public officials. They operate under what is called public law, which is distinct from private law. The VIP is a private body and operate under private law. There's an intersection between public law and private law, and that intersection was properly dealt with within the preambulatory clauses.
An intervention. I think that Mr. Bash is referring to the point 14 and the variance steering committee, and he's assuming that that is a public body, that is actually a private body. So that, I think that's where there is some acceptance.
Could you just repeat what you said, Mr. Prescott? Thank you for your contribution. I didn't hear you.
I think that Mr. Bash is mistaking the point 14 and the variance steering committee as a public body, but it is not.
I understand. Yeah, it's
Thank you, Mr. Prescott.
right. When you read the preambulatory clauses, it's very clear that it is a constituent body of the VIP. Right? In administration, a constituent body is really an integral part of another entity. That's what that means. It's an integral part. Because the steering committee is comprised of members of the VIP, it is not possible to separate the steering committee from the VIP, whether in law or in practice. That's why it's a constituent body of the VIP. The cooperative that is to be registered is also a constituent body of the VIP for the very purpose that it is comprised of members of the VIP who decided that they wanted to incorporate a cooperative to serve their interests, which interest is a subset of 4 wellness goals of the VIP. The 4 wellness goals are success, health, wealth, and happiness. And the cooperative is intended to provide for the wellness goal of wealth while protecting the wellness goal of health and happiness, thereby achieving the wellness goals of success, health, wealth, and happiness. In other words, in the absence of the cooperative, there will be much difficulty in the VIP achieving its objective of success, health, wealth, and happiness. Because without wealth, there will be a scarcity of happiness. Without wealth, there can be a scarcity of health. And without wealth and health, you are certainly unable to achieve happiness of any kind. So what we have just described are the philosophical underpinnings of the VIP in terms of how the benefits are constructed in order to provide, to meet the needs of its members in order for them to self-actualize. Right?
Yeah, but that wasn't just my question. My question was simply a question of law, sort of thing. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to argue with you what you just said. I'll leave it as said. But it just doesn't jive to just leave it like that. I will thing, but I would like to, as I said before, reserve the option to make a general comment at the end.
Sure. Well, okay. We will not have room for a general comment because the comments have to be specific to the items on the floor. In the context of what you were discussing, I contextualized it so that I could have accommodated your comment since it related to the steering committee, and the steering committee is integral to the resolution. So it's because of your comment referring to the steering committee, and the steering committee is integral to the resolution. In that context, I accepted your comment as being specific to the resolution. However, if you were to generalize, it makes it difficult in order to make it specific.
To put it bluntly, Mr. Chairman, if I can't make a general comment on the resolution, I am done here. I don't have a purpose in this meeting.
What's that?
I said, if I cannot make a general comment on the resolution on the table and stuff like that, I am done.
Well, I didn't say you cannot.
No,
I did not say you cannot, my friend. First of all, I will take it like this. Mr. Prescott qualified your concerns with a response which I accepted.
Yeah.
Then I went further. I went further to do further qualifications. Yeah, sure. Now, please take the floor and make your general comment, but ensure that it is specific to this particular resolution, which actually talks about registering an alternative or any alternatives to cooperatives. Please take the floor.
My general comment is this, and like I said, I'm condensing a lot of questions I had to go through, and that's why I didn't have a chance to finish the whole document, because I had lots of questions. But in general, I think, can you summarize for us what is this organization to gain by being registered, one, and two, what additional responsibilities or changes in with the VIP would have to happen for us when we are registered, and what do we have to lose if we don't? What happens if we decide not to register?
All right.
That's it.
All right. When I'll ask a clarifying question again, what do you mean that if we are not registered? Now, is we the VIP or is we the cooperative?
Correct, the VIP. I took liberties to say we.
Sure.
We
okay,
the
sure.
VIP.
Sure. Could you give me a moment to give you the information? Hold a moment, please. Is that I'm going through the preambulatory clauses, and I will use the preambulatory clauses to respond. I will not impugn that you did not read the document, because I know that you wanted time in order to peruse.
Yeah, I just need a summary.
Peruse the
all the
document.
details. I just need the key points as you see it.
So,
I think for me, I went through myself and
let's,
I have a number of other persons that they are.
Sure. So I know that you looked at the document, and it's possible that you may have missed issues related to the VIP and its registration and its legitimacy. Let's go to page 4 of the resolution, item, the preambulatory clause H. Those of you who may be anxious, we will go to a vote after we deal with Mr. Batch concern, right? It's useful to address the concerns of members. So, Mr. Batch's question related to the bona fides, as he said, of the VIP in terms of registration. And I will link that question to item 2 of the operative clause in order to address it so that he will not be out of order. You will see that this clause dealt with the legitimacy legally of the VIP in its 2 manifestation. And whereas the sponsors note that the VIP was established as an unincorporated body in Point Fortin in 1989. As an unincorporated body, the VIP's constituent statute was the registration.
I have to interrupt you. I didn't ask about the bona fides of the VIP. I'm asking what is the benefit to us by registering?
By registering what? Please, Mr. Batch, let's be specific. Saying registering and stop there is so general that I don't know what item you're looking at. Registering what?
I mean, refer to Mr. Prescott, let him speak.
I think again it is a misinterpretation, because I think Mr. Batch is believing that the resolution is dealing with registering the VIP itself, and the resolution is dealing with registering the cooperative that we're talking about, not the VIP.
Does that clarify your concern, Mr. Batch?
Let me think about that. Go ahead. I hear you. Let me think about it.
What did? Oh, you want to think about it? Okay. Let's deal with it. Okay. No, that's not. We'll deal with the 2 clauses. Alright? First of all, item H gives you a history of the VIP and its bona fides. For those who do not know, a members club does not need registration. Any group of people who gather together and formulate rules of conduct, formal rules of conduct, you are automatically an unincorporated body, and you now have the protection of law. That distinction actually is a friendly society, which was dealt with in the preambulatory clause. There's no distinction between a members club and a friendly society. The Friendly Society Act, you register there in order to get a statutory license to operate as a friendly society under the Registrar of Friendly Societies.
Yeah,
and only for those.
Reading of the act, you would have understood that. You don't need to go through that.
Yeah, but there may be, I'm doing it for the benefit of others, because this is what the whole thing is about, for the benefit of the whole. Yeah, and please do not take it as if I'm trying to, I'm not getting the word, diss you. No, I'm not. I'm really making sure that I edify the rest of the members, because there are many persons.
I mean, my question is, whoever it is, whether it is VIP or how do you call it, Mr. Prescott, corporate body or whatever, is going to be registered as a CEC or whatever. The only point I'm trying to make is what is the benefit to that body being registered in a nutshell?
Sure. When a cooperative is registered, it acquires a legal personality in which it can conduct business in its own name. Its name is protected by law. Other persons cannot use that name. And under the mode of a cooperative that is registered, it also gets protection under ILO Convention 87, ILO Recommendation 193, the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Cooperative Societies Act. That organization must operate according to cooperative principles, which means that it must operate for the benefit of its members, their communities, and the environment.
I understand all that. All I'm trying to say is, what is the real material benefit to the membership?
Okay, I will answer that question by suggesting that not you, but persons read the promotional brochures that was distributed to all persons who are on this chat about the Borough of Point Fortin and Environs Entrepreneurial Cooperative Society Limited. That's a proposed CEC. However, the document is not specific to that proposed cooperative. It is specific to community entrepreneurial cooperatives, a new kind of cooperative, which is a multi-purpose cooperative that is being established by the VIP for the ultimate purpose of training the young people of Trinidad and Tobago how to build better relationships with one another. That will reduce domestic violence and crime. How to build better families who will build better communities where we'll have a safer nation. And especially the children to become angel investors. An angel investor is someone who is economically independent and have excess capital that they use to invest in other people's business, in which case that type of investment in other people's business will be in the businesses of their peers in their communities. In that context, that cooperative will have a concentration of wealth within the community where more funds that are earned by the working class is circulated within the community, enriching the members of the community before it leaves Trinidad and Tobago to go into consumption. My friend, let me share this with you. By the way, I'm not saying it in a snide way, I'm just saying it in that general way. A cooperative is not a building. A cooperative is not a certificate that it gets from the government. A cooperative is a group of people gathered together for a common purpose who have agreed to share their time, talents, and treasures to help one another to live a better life. The knowledge and life skills that are within a cooperative is the knowledge and life skills that are within the community which that cooperative serves. Now, considering that the knowledge
and life skills are residing within the minds of the people in the community, you now have a system for the transition of proper family values from the parent to the child, and thereby creating better families, better communities, better institutions, and a better nation. That cooperative will teach the children from very young in how to manage relationships, wealth, and how to remain humble and help one another. So that cooperative, at the end of the day, will solve many social problems, so that working class persons who may say or used to depend on a lamentation that my father was never in business, so therefore I can't go into business. Well, the cooperative is your father. So that if you weren't lucky to have a father in business or a family in business, by merely being a child in that cooperative, you are going to learn all those requirements to get into business as well as to become a better person. The cooperative is really about human development, social development, community development, and to make a better people who will transition their wealth to their grandchildren, and therefore keeping the wealth within the family. Also, in doing so, they are going to diversify the economy of Trinidad and Tobago into a medical and wellness economy, creating income security for future generations. My friends, this is no ordinary institution. This institution is created from the innovative energies of the people of Point Fortin and environs, which they are sharing to the national community and to the world. Is there anyone, Mr. Bach, again, this was not an attack on you, this is really a matter of sharing the information in another context, because there are many contexts in which one can describe these things, and you ask for the benefits, and what I'm sharing with you is benefits that are useful and important for every single community in this country and the country as a whole. Okay, is there anybody, Mr. Bach, by the way, as I said, your contributions are very useful because it assists other people to understand more of the of what this cooperative is about. So please do not feel that when I respond, I'm trying to, as young people say, diss you. What I'm really doing, I'm talking to the other members also, so that they will better appreciate the value of the cooperative, which value will not necessarily expounded in the resolution document. The resolution document dealt more with law. What you are asking for is other value propositions, which I've shared with you, and I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to share those other value propositions which relate more directly to the life of the working class people. So I want to thank you very, very much for that.
Well, I think we have to appreciate, I think you do appreciate from our discussion in the past, whatever. There are a number of people, I'm sure, who are not necessarily who are on this forum right now, who went into the medicine thing. They went in strictly in terms of medical insurance, nothing else, and that has evolved into other things. So in the first case, and I'm saying that in discussing it with at least one other party who is a member, sort of thing, the burning question is, I mean, all I'm interested in is the medical insurance. What is it? What does this do for my medical insurance, right? So it was necessary for me to ask you to clarify what exactly the benefits are, where are they going, and things like that, so that people will understand. It's a community-based thing that you are proposing here now, and not necessarily something that impacts one way or the other on the medical insurance aspect of medicine that you will start off with.
Thank you very much. I would like to share with you that the preambulatory clauses dealt in detail with all of those things, and what you mentioned, evolution, it actually mentioned that the VIP was constituted in point 14, and what we focused on first were craft courses, 13 craft courses, 13. Right? And in 1997 is when Capital Ventures formulated a medical insurance and got Alchico to underwrite that insurance. And of course, the history is there that they copied the version of our medical insurance, and within one year their version passed, while ours was still viable. However, their American headquarters told them to come out of that industry, and the broker moved us to another insurer, which was Caribbean Home Insurance Company, and they wanted to kick out our retirees. And we said, if you cannot take our retirees, you get nobody. We fought for our retirees. We fought for our retirees. If you do not want our retirees, you get nobody. We stood up. And from that time on, there have been a struggle. And what we are seeing is that there is a constant attack on retirees and working class people, who the VIP stands for. I would repeat, a constant attack on working class people and retirees, and it's documented within the preambulatory clauses of this resolution. We actually mentioned what happened in point 14 with one of their credit unions, where the people in point 14 tried to revive their credit union, and at every opportunity it was blocked. And right now that credit union is almost ready for the registration. And I may add that the solution that was brought is still available and can still work. My friends, do you know how many retirees have suffered with the demise of that credit union? Again, an attack on retirees. By the way, my passion is not because of you, Mr. Blanche. My passion is because I have spent my life trying to pay back for those persons who helped me while I was young to live a better life. And I took early retirement at age 37 from Petrotrin, where I was a senior staff, making good money to focus my life on this. And it has been hell. I repeat, it has been hell. But you do not see it on my face. You see it in terms of the history and the resistance and the support for retirees. This very promotion that we have, its focus is on retirees. The promotion we have right now, its focus is on retirees. There was a time in the past when no insurance company was giving persons any coverage who was over 80. It came to us, and we designed a plan for persons over 80 so that they could go abroad and enjoy themselves. My friends, those of you who are retirees, please understand that the VIP is your organization. organization that has stood up for you forever and will continue to stand up for you until, as some religious people say, the second coming. This is your organization. Stand up, because very quietly and sinisterly there are forces that are acting against interests of the working class and retirees. I will share this with you before we go to the vote, my friends. I have been in several medical insurance, and I will give you the quote that came from one, just one, 2 months ago. Coverage for myself and my wife for $150,000, where the maximum you can get at any time is $100,000, is $2,900 per month for retirees. I repeat it, $2,900 per month for retirees. And all they give you is medical coverage. Within the VIP, it is not about medical coverage. The VIP is about wellness lifestyle management. And it takes care of all of the different elements of your life. So the medical reimbursement benefit is just one small aspect of a whole range of benefits that are available to members and their families, and the cooperative is actually more important than the medical benefits. Why? Because the cooperative, its intention is to move members from the working class into the business class, and the business as well as your participation in the cooperative is your retirement plan to pass on to your grandchildren. That's well documented within the bylaws of the cooperative as well as within the brochures that you all will have had. So, okay, I will take this time now to one more time ask persons who may want to share or respond to Mr. Bach. Please be polite. Mr. Bach is providing very useful contributions, right, which I welcome. So anybody who wishes to make a response, because he is one of the persons listed as the listed speakers, and now we give an opportunity. Mr. Bach, are you finished, I should ask, so that we can now move on to other members?
Yeah. I didn't expect that anybody would be not polite in responding. You're talking by shock when you made that request, but let's see. Yeah, okay, I'm done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, anyone who may wish to make a response to Mr. Bach's contribution, please take the floor. Mr. Prescott, I see that your hands up. Please do.
Right. So I just want to say that this was why 2 weeks ago I expressed my excitement and looking forward to the establishment of the cooperative. Right? I didn't mention that then, that I was excited to see it come to fruition, and your explanation is precisely why I wrote that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This cooperative is the answer to domestic violence. It's an answer to crime. It's an answer to the lamentation of certain persons in the working class who say that they are disadvantaged because of other people. The solution is stop complaining, start having a long view, get with it. That's all. Stop complaining. Have a long view for yourself, your family, your community, and join the cooperative and get with it. And slowly, you're going to find yourself moving your whole community. As Warren Buffett says, a rising tide raises all boats. your whole community will rise. And I will close by saying this. One community that needs this cooperative most is the people of Point Fortin and the environs. Why? Because the state has put the elaborate industrial estate for the benefit of the country, and more particularly for the people of the Southwestern Peninsula, Labrie included. The cooperative is going to find a solution so you will not have protests on the street. Now, without the cooperative that to bring these opportunities to those people, you are going to find social displacement, where in the next 30 years, you're going to find certain people in Point Fortin saying, you see that place up there on that hill? My family used to live there. Meaning that they weren't in a position to make the kind of income to keep their own properties. Because what? Other people will migrate and displace them. The cooperative is that solution. The highway bypasses a lot of communities. These communities need the cooperative urgently, as you are going to get degradation of these communities and then social unrest. This cooperative was supposed to be established since 2018. And if it was established, more people in Labrie, Point Fortin, and environs would have been in a better position to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the government. And what you find is a situation where they are being disadvantaged. And then those people higher up will say, you see, them people and they don't know anything about business, look at them. The government did all of this for them. And what happened? Other people come and take the opportunities. Unknown to all, you have this invisible hand that's interfering with their progress. That must stop. And I will close by saying that the president I was talking about, past president, is Mr. Camona, now come back to my mind, who was lamenting about neo-colonialism when he was young. And we now have neo-colonialism acting still in this country. Someone has a question on the floor here, so I'll give that person the opportunity, and then we will go to the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Bash, as I was listening to your contribution, I got perhaps the feeling that you are concerned whether or not the formation of the cooperative would have any impact, and more specifically would have a negative impact on your medical plan. Am I correct on that?
You are absolutely correct, my dear.
Okay, thank you for that. So I would like for Mr. Bernard to specifically address that, because I think that's worth circling back to.
Can you identify yourself, please?
My name is Georgia Cherry. I'm the administrative manager. I am Ms. Cherry. I think we would have spoken in the past. So I would definitely want that situation, that topic fully explained so that you walk away with a certain degree of comfort that no, the formation of the cooperative would not negatively impact upon your medical plan, and quite frankly, it might improve your medical plan in many aspects. So I'm going to pass the mic back to Mr. Bernard so that he can address that to your comfort, right?
Thank you, Ms. Cherry. That was to the point of what I'm asking.
Sure, certainly.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, Mr. Batch, as I keep saying, your contributions are extremely useful and helpful for us all here. First of all, those issues are addressed in the preambles to this resolution. The cooperative is an autonomous constituent body of the VIP. Autonomous means that it operates on its own. The cooperative is run by its members and its members only, and that is a requirement in law. Nobody can tell the cooperative what to do. The cooperative generates its own funding, and this particular cooperative, its funding is designed in a manner to help its members save, where a minimum contribution, a minimum amount of shares, which is $1,000 per year, is committed by each member to fund this cooperative. A minimum of $1,000 per year, every year, per member to fund the cooperative. And that funding comes from the members, not the VIP. Now, with respect to the VIP, to be a member of the cooperative, you need to be a member of the VIP. And you can be a member of the VIP without having any medical coverage, so to speak, or have medical coverage. Either way, the cooperative is a single reason for members to want to join the VIP. And by joining the VIP, they know their membership will bring income into the VIP, strengthening the VIP and making it better and for you all to get claims paid, and more importantly, have more benefits within the VIP. So what I'm saying here is this: within the marketing aspect of the VIP, the cooperative will increase the membership of the VIP significantly. And once you get that significant increase, you will get significant income into the VIP. And it protects the medical plan as you get more persons who come into the VIP for reasons other than for the medical plan. So here you have it. You will have persons coming in because they want medical coverage, as what you would have come in for at that time. Then you will have persons coming in because of the cooperative, and they will bring their children in for the cooperative also. In that manner, you actually get a better VIP, because the cooperative itself is a benefit of the VIP. What that means, Mr. Bach, is that not only will your medical plan be preserved, but you can be assured that, as has happened since 1997, your membership contribution will remain stable for the rest of your life. I repeat that. Your membership for being in the VIP will remain stable for the rest of your life. That does not happen in any insurance plan. And I will want to add to this, that this promotion, an important part of this promotion, is to create these cooperatives for the benefit of various communities. And as we increase the membership of the VIP, retirees will be able to get their membership for free for the rest of their life, plus $5,000 per month for 3 years. I repeat, retirees, every retiree that is in the VIP at this time has the ability to get their membership for free with the best plan in the VIP, plus $500 per month for 3 years. But that's not all. They have the ability to nominate 10 members of their friends and family to get that same benefit. And one may ask, how is that funded? Very simple. Out of the membership fee that members pay to be in the VIP, which minimum value is around $5,000, $6,000. Let's use $5,000. $500 of that is what will be used to subsidize the benefits of the retirees. Roughly 10%. Okay, let's look at 10%. One could have taken that and pay commissions to some person as their income. 10%. Would anybody complain with paying commissions of 10% if we were to hire persons to do that? What about if we decide, let the money stay in the family, especially the retirees, which is the very purpose of non-profit organizations, to help members of the family. And I would want you to look at Article 14 of the VIP's Articles of Association, which talks about organizing funds to be distributed to worthy members of the VIP. The promotion is a manifestation of that objective of the VIP, which has been approved by the government for us to do for our members and members of the communities in which the VIP operates. Cool. Let's go to the vote now.
So we have in attendance, online is 13, 19. Okay, so.
Okay, so I now go for us to take a vote on resolution number, where's it up here? Oh, I'll just hold it up here, all right. So we now move to take a vote. Who will second that motion? Let me move the vote. All right, I see Ms. Cooper, a second. So we'll move to vote on resolution number 001-2023, title, Instructions to Register All Community Entrepreneurial Cooperatives and or such other necessary bodies or entities for members of the VIP to lawfully fulfill the wellness goals of wealth and diversify the economy into a medical and wellness economy, providing income security for future generations, which short title is Instructions to Register All Community Entrepreneurial Cooperatives and all such other entities which can lawfully fulfill the functions for CECs as outlined within the VIP bylaws. So the floor is open to vote. All who say yea, raise thy hands now.
I say yes. I don't know how to raise my hand.
All right, so we'll take Ms. Costa as a yes.
Just raise hands. You raise your hand and just say yes.
Those of you who know how to use the technology to raise your hands.
Just proceed. It's very simple. Look at reactions on the bottom right. Click on reactions and you'll see raise hand.
Alright, I raise mine.
Yes, yeah. Dedri, we need Dedri, Miss Clifton, Jessica, Curtis, you all.
I know that is a matter of now. I'm just going to keep the book behind. I know that. I think I need to think about it. I will try to fix it and ask of our attitude. I'm going to do it. The ready thing was holding it together. How are you holding it now? Push it back and ask you what to do. Just try it.
Okay, Deirdre Prescott, Deirdre Prescott, I'm not seeing whether you are raising. Paul James McPherson.
Just Trees, please. Will you provide?
Okay. We know that some people may not be attending this screen at this time. Curtis Millett, you can, if you're Jessica, we are assuming that some person may not know the technology. What we will do, we will move to those persons who wish to say no. And in that way, we will be able to sort out those who didn't support, who do not support. But we want to give as much time for those who say yes. I see Mr. Millett. Is Mr. Millett on the screen? I'm not hearing a response from him. Mr. Prescott, you had already raised, I believe. I'm not seeing you up.
Yeah, that's why I lowered it. Because I thought you were going to do what you do.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, you could keep it up. Deirdre, I'm not getting a response from Deirdre to know whether she is actually attending. Deirdre, could you respond to know, tell me if you're attending? I know Mr. Baksh is attending, so I wouldn't call him at this time. Or I should say, in order to make it not look negatively, Mr. Baksh, if you desire, you can raise your hand now. All right, we will go to the negative vote afterwards.
Mr. Bernard, I'm not sure, so I'll keep it posted.
I'm not sure. It's different.
He is abstaining. Okay, so we will now move to those who wish to vote no. Did you raise your hands? You can put down your hands. Please put down your hands.
You should ask for everybody to put down their hands first.
Yes, thank you. So everybody, please clear the screen, put down hands down so that we can move to the negative votes.
Mr. Prescott would like to put up my hand.
Ms. Brewster, Cindy Ann.
Oh, would like to put up my hand, please?
Technology.
Look on your phone.
All right, so the screen is clear. So we now ask for those who say nay, could you raise your hands? Those who say no, could you raise your hands, please? All right, so we have one. All right, so we have one now. Okay, so when we look at those who would have said yes, all right, and those who would have paid attention, we know that we have one that says no. So now we will move to those who. Deji, could you take your hands down so that? But didn't they do yes? Oh, okay. So Deji, can you take your hands down now? We have registered your vote. So we want to move to those who are abstain. Did Ms. Cresta take down her hand? So we have one abstention. Two abstention. Okay, two abstention. Okay, so give me the co-letters item. Okay, so
I think you can reasonably assume that those who didn't respond are abstentions.
I'm not so sure that one can see that particularly because with the technology you don't know. So that's why we ask those who say.
Unless you think they are having difficulty with the technology,
it can be.
Accept that.
Yeah. Or they probably excuse themselves. So no problem. So we have 12 yes, 1 no, 3 abstention. Of course, and we have 3 undetermined. So the resolution is passed with those numbers, and I want to thank all persons who would have made their contributions. Every contribution is quite valuable. So I really do thank the contributions of every person. Okay, so with that, what's the next item on the agenda? So the next item on the agenda is a vote of thanks, which we will pass on to Ms. Georgette Sherry. Georgette Sherry is a member of the board of the VIP. The originated board, when we became registered under the Companies Act as an incorporated body, understood as a company as opposed to an unincorporated entity.
Good evening again. I would just like to thank everyone for coming, taking the time to attend, showing your interest, showing your participation. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you for the no's, thank you for the yeses, and I wish everyone a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Okay, so as chairman, and with the powers bestowed upon me, I ask for someone to move to close the meeting.
I move to close.
All right, who's second? All right, thank you so much for your valuable contribution, Mr. Prescott. Okay, so the meeting is closed, and I thank all of you.
Thank you.